All right, people, good afternoon. It is time for the injury report. I know this has been out for maybe a little bit more than an hour now. I know I'm a little bit late, but I had some things to do, and I had a video that had just gone live at 1 anyway. But regardless, let's talk injuries. Let's talk practice reports. Let's talk status. You guys know the drill. We're taking it from Nemhauser because once again, he actually posted the picture that has both teams in one image, which I like. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at the latest and greatest. And of course, we'll start with the Seahawks, but that is certainly not the more interesting of the two teams in terms of their injuries. Before we dig into this, though, I want to tell you guys a little bit about Sleeper. They've got a little something new going this month, so pay attention to the next 60 seconds and you might learn something. See ya in a minute. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips, and of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. All right, welcome back. So, first of all, we do have a little bit of good news on the Seahawks side of things, and I'll go ahead and lead with that. Nick Eamon-Worry is indeed going to play. He has no game status. He was a full participant all week. He is about as good to go as you can be. So there's your good news. Nick Eamon-Worry will be back this weekend. And I guess also Cody White. He made it through the whole week. No missed practice, going to play. No problems. If you take anything from that. Unfortunately, other than that, we didn't really get the week we wanted, especially coming off the mini bye. This is kind of disappointing. We had 4 players miss all 3 days of practice in their entirety, and none of them will play. They've already gone ahead and declared out Josh Jones, DeMarcus Lawrence, Julian Love, Devin Witherspoon. They are not doubtful. They are out. They will not play, barring some act of some miracle. So obviously there's the surface level stuff there, which it's unfortunate. Josh Jones, whatever, right? Josh Jones, honestly, I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't gone on IR yet because of the way they're talking about it. But either way, he's a backup. He's not somebody who you would ever expect to play, barring catastrophe. And Josh Jones is not that much better than whoever we will have on the team as a backup tackle anyway. Like, there's not much of a difference there. So whatever. Josh Jones, that's one thing, but DeMarcus Lawrence, okay, I'll admit that when he got hurt last week against Arizona, I was kind of expecting this. Still not cool, still not happy about it, but I'm not surprised that an older player is taking a while to get back. And with this being a 17-game schedule, the team is going to err on the side of caution. But Devin Witherspoon and Julian Love, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. It bears repeating, though. This could turn into something pretty significant and something that we as Seahawks fans do not need to be dealing with, like, especially Witherspoon. Now, McDonald did say in his press conference that both Love and Witherspoon got re-injured in the Cardinals game, so he did link it to that particular game, and I guess the implication is that adrenaline allowed them to finish the game, but once the game was over, they realized something was not right. So I guess that's better than it just being a wear and tear situation. I guess. Like, I don't know. It's still not good because, again, this is not something that was obvious. This is not something that was clearly visible to the viewers. This was something that apparently wasn't really noticed all that well until after the game was over, which disturbs me a little bit because Witherspoon had just missed 2 games. Love had just missed a game. and then they come back for one game and already they're whatever it is, I'm worried this is going to become an on and off thing all season, and we really cannot afford to be losing significant snaps from two of our starters in the secondary. This is a big year for Witherspoon. Could be a contract year for him. Julian Love, big part of this secondary, our best safety and one of our leaders. I'm hoping that it's just a 1 week thing, but at this point, I have to suspect this is going to go on for a while. And that's not fun. So those two are the really disappointing ones, especially with the mini bye. You would expect things to be a little bit better. And also, we had Byron Murphy pop up with a back injury, limited participation today, so that's also not good. Now, the good news is he's going to play. He doesn't even have a game status. But the problem is he's not 100% now, and maybe part of the reason why he got hurt is because he's playing out of position. This goes back to the conversations we had last year. So, kind of annoying. And I don't know if he got the back injury related to the fact that he's playing at the nose. I don't know if those two things are correlated. I'm not going to pretend like I can really speculate on that, but I do go back to that when in times like this. I can't help it. All right. That being said, Tampa Bay is still the team with the bigger problems here, and I'll say this. Things are not nearly as bad as they could have been based on where they were when the week started. If you're Tampa Bay, you're actually probably kind of relieved, and you're kind of feeling like this might have been the best case scenario. Like, we've got, okay, so let's start with the players that are out, right? There are 5 players that Tampa Bay has listed as out. You have Jamel Dean, that was kind of suspected earlier this week, but he's their starting corner. Mike Evans, their number 1 receiver. We've kind of known he was going to be out all week. They were hoping, but it was never realistic. Bucky Irving, which, not terribly surprising. That's obviously a huge loss, though. Christian Eisen, a defensive back, a backup. Not a huge loss, but with the way Tampa Bay secondary is kind of beat up right now, maybe it's a bigger loss than it would be normally. And Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, also out. So those 5 guys, we're not going to have to worry about them this weekend. It's a done deal. So basically, you have their 2 cornerbacks, Jamel Dean the starter, and Benjamin Morrison would start if healthy because of Jamel Dean being out. So basically, they're missing 2 starters at corner. Evans, Irving, those are 2 of their biggest playmakers on offense, and a backup safety who may or may not really have a significant role. Here's the thing, though. That's it. That's literally it. Everybody else has no game status. They're not questionable or doubtful. They're all just expected to play at this point. And given where they were at the start of the week, that is really good. And the only guy who was limited in practice today was Levante David, who's limited because he's old, not because there's a serious injury there. So he's as fine as he's going to be. How old is Levante David now? 35, 36? I can't remember, but the point is his knees are probably never 100%. That just is the cost of doing business right now. But Greg Gaines, 2 straight days of full participation. Chris Godwin, fully participated all week. Logan Hall, limited on Wednesday and then was full the last 2 days. Charlie Heck was full all week. Baker Mayfield, obviously, there was never any real concern there. He was a full participant the last 2 days. Zion McCollum, full participant all week. Hassan Reddick, full participant the last 2 days. Sterling Shepard, full participant the last 2 days. And Tyke Smith got back to full participation today. So this is actually not terrible. Obviously, Tampa Bay's problems go beyond this. Understand that Collegiate Cansey is on IR. He's not listed here, but that is a huge loss. Luke Odecki, out for the year. Big loss, not listed here. Cody Mao, out for, I believe, the year. He's on IR, at least. He's not playing. Big loss, not listed here. And even a guy like Jalen McMillan. And normally, Jalen McMillan would not be a big deal. But without Mike Evans out there, and maybe Godwin may not even be 100%, to be perfectly honest, it's actually a bigger deal than it normally would be. So they still have bigger problems than us by a long shot. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are incredibly beat up. But given where things were at the start of the week, this is not bad. They're going to have Greg Gaines. And I wasn't sure about that earlier this week. They're going to have Hassan Reddick. I wasn't sure about that when the week started. Sterling Shepard, Tyke Smith. It wasn't clear there either, but they actually came out of this not that bad. It's not a disaster the way it could have been. So, look, Tampa Bay is still going to be crippled offensively, and they're going to be down some key guys on defense. It's not going to be a practice squad game like it was kind of looking like it could be on Wednesday. And that's it. That's all we got. So, unfortunately, it's a little bit more, how should I put this? It's not terrible for the Seahawks, right? Like, it's football. It's a violent sport. It's the NFL. You expect players to get hurt. You expect players to miss games. But getting through the mini bye week and not getting any of these players to actually progress. And the only thing we got was the degression of Byron Murphy, if we got anything. It's frustrating. It is a little bit frustrating, I will admit. But such is the way in the modern NFL. 17 games leaves teams in situations where they want to err on the side of caution. All right, I'm going to get out of here. See you guys later. Go Hawks. At least one more video later today. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon.